Hello, welcome to our Internet Safety Top Tips, a guide for parents. So the first thing we're going to talk about is understanding how your child uses the internet. So the thought of what your child might come across online can be worrying, and it can be hard to keep track of the websites and games that your child is visiting when they are on the internet because of the demands of everyday life. Even though it can be a challenge, it is important that you know exactly what your children are doing whilst on the internet in order to keep them safe. By implementing a few simple rules, you can protect your children from some of the dangers on the internet. There are a few new pressures about now that the internet is becoming more and more prominent. So many of the children use the internet now because they are scared of missing out. So a lot of children in classes tend to use the internet, use social media on an evening to communicate with each other. Um, So some children feel that they need to use the internet so that they don't miss out on what the other children are talking about. Some of them use the internet to boost their self-esteem. So they base their self-worth on the amount of likes they get on social media on their pictures. And this links to the third main reason, selfies. So a lot of children like to take constant selfies on their phones and then post them on social media, again, to get as many likes as possible. And the fourth main reason for using the internet is gaming. What are the dangers? So there are four main dangers. The first is inappropriate content. The next is cyberbullying, online gaming, and online predators. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of these today. So first of all, we're going to discuss inappropriate content. So children tend to see inappropriate content by accident. They may mostly see it on adverts that may pop up on the internet, and it can become quite upsetting to them. In other instances, children complete an innocent Google search, but the results that appear are not quite so innocent. Inappropriate content can come in the form of violence and distressing content, such as videos of animals being abused for fun, which is commonly seen on social media sites, abuse, and hate sites. So, hate sites are commonly directed towards different cultures, races, religions, or sexualities, and can be quite upsetting for children to see. It's important that you discuss with your child what to do if they see something that makes them feel uncomfortable in order to keep them safe. So it's important that they block and report any content that makes them feel uncomfortable, as well as informing a trusted adult. This is quite easy to do on most social media platforms, and it is important that children understand how to do this so that then they won't see the inappropriate content again. Finally, let them know that they can always come to you if they have seen anything that upsets them online. So the next one we're going to discuss is cyberbullying. So cyberbullying is no different from bullying in real life. With the advancement of technology, there are now more ways for bullying to occur. Bullying is the repetitive, intentional hurting of one person or group by another person or group, where the relationship involves an imbalance of power. Bullying can be physical, verbal, or psychological, and it is persistent. It is happening all the time. Cyberbullying is slightly different to bullying in the classroom for a number of reasons. It is harder to escape cyberbullying. It can be done anonymously. It is constant. There is no break from it because of the use of phones and social media. Bullies can also contact their victims um, on an evening, whereas before technology was advanced, children used to get a break from the bullying when they went home from school. It is very hard to police. So it's very difficult to see who could be the bullies, quite often because it's done anonymously. And more often than not, there will always be an audience. So it might be posted publicly on social media for the rest of the class to see, which can be quite humiliating in itself. So cyberbullying is done online and it's generally done over social media such as Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, or Instagram. It's important to encourage your child not to accept friend requests unless they directly know the person and show that they have their privacy settings set so that only their friends can see their information. Make sure that your child is aware that once something has been sent, it no longer belongs to them and will be on the internet forever for others to use or change, so they need to think about what they are sharing with others. Okay, so if their child feels like they are being send something to their friend and their friend forwards it to another friend with a nasty comment, that can be a form of cyberbullying. So they need to make sure that what they send to other people, they don't mind other people seeing, as it can become public. And make sure that you discuss with your child that things can be taken out of context when posted online. So something that was intended as a joke could be taken as a dig and therefore could cause an argument or bullying if other people jump on. The next one is online games. So gaming is a good way for children to relax, and online gaming is becoming more and more popular. A lot of children play games on consoles, tablets, and phones, and often wear headsets whilst playing and play with others who are online. So it can often be difficult for parents to monitor what their conversations are when they are wearing those headsets. There are a few dangers of playing online games. One of these is being bullied. So whilst they are playing the game, another user may tell your child that they are rubbish or it's their fault that they lost the game. And this can cause your child to become quite upset, and it is a form of bullying if it's constant. Another thing is that they might talk to people that they don't know. So these people might try to get to know them, and the children need to be aware that they are not to give personal information out to strangers, such as their real names, their addresses, their school name, and things like that, because this will make it easier for these people to find them. Another danger is trolling and scams. So trolling is where people intentionally upset others and try to humiliate them in front of others, which will link to the bullying. And the other thing is scams. So, for example, the children might be told that they can level up for free, or they might be told that they can download a free better game, which could cause a virus to download on their device. Mostly, these scams are trying to get personal information from the children. So it's very, very important to remind the children and make sure that they understand to keep their personal information to themselves and not to share it with others. Online predators. So online predators usually strike in chat rooms, social media, or online multiplayer games such as Roblox or Minecraft or things like that. Most games that are designed for children have built-in features that prevent inappropriate comments and chats. So they are designed to keep the children safe and stop online predators from striking. Games that aren't designed for children have less of these safety features, which is why it is important to stick to the age guidelines for games and social media, because they are there to keep your children safe. To keep on top of this, ask your children which apps they are using and whether they are on any social media platforms. Set clear rules about times and places that they can use these apps. So, for example, you might implement the rule of no phones in bedrooms, and this will help to keep them safe because they will not be able to access any social media accounts without supervision. Ask them how they chat to their friends and do occasional spots so that you can see who they are chatting to. So, ask your children to show you the chats that they have been using, and so that you can see who it is that they have actually been speaking with. If your child is a gamer and enjoys gaming, ask them questions like, do you chat with others whilst you're playing? Who are they? What would you do if someone you didn't know contacted you? The last one is in bold, because that is the most important question there of the three. Hopefully, your child will answer you with, we would tell a parent or a trusted adult, as we do cover this in school with them. You can also help them to set their privacy settings so that they can limit who can contact them. For example, you can set them so that only people they know can contact them. There are many ways that we can keep our children safe on the internet. One of these is to agree set rules that have to be used whilst your child is using the internet. So, for example, one of these might be that your child has to be near you so that if anything pops up that your child is uncomfortable with, they can come straight to you and you can help them to deal with that situation. Another way is to stick to the age restrictions. So make sure that your children aren't playing games that are um, that are for children older than them. Make sure that they are playing games that are specifically for children, as these have the restrictions there for them inbuilt in the game to keep them safe online. Also, be aware of what your child is using the internet for. Have those discussions with them, ask them questions about why they are using the internet, who they are chatting with, things like that. Make sure there is an adult in the room or in the vicinity when they are using the internet so that then you can then jump in straight away if something pops up that they are uncomfortable with. Talk to your child about the risks involved with meeting friends online, in person, and use parental controls. So the device instructions usually explain how to set these up. Be sure to check these settings regularly because they can sometimes change. So there are different ways of setting up parental controls depending on whether you've got an Android or an Apple device. So an easy way to set them up on an Android device is to go to the Play Store app and add a PIN, which means you can filter or restrict access. So you would go to the Play Store app, you would click on Settings and go to Parental Controls at the bottom. At the minute, the parental controls are off, so you would click on the parental controls and you would create a PIN which only you would be able to use. So only you would be able to change those parental controls. On an Apple device, that's slightly different. So you can restrict the game center by going to the settings and tapping screen time. Then you would tap content and privacy restrictions, then tap content restrictions. You would then scroll down to game center and choose your settings. You can restrict these game center features. You can restrict multiplayer games, adding friends, and screen recording. You can also prevent explicit content and content ratings. So this means that if your child is watching something on an Apple device or playing music on an Apple device, they would restrict what they could see. So anything that's inappropriate to them, they wouldn't be able to see. And they would do this by going to settings and tapping screen time, then tap content and privacy restrictions, and then tap content restrictions. Choose the settings that you want for each feature or setting under allowed store content. So there are many things that you can restrict the content for, such as music, videos, films, TV programs, books, and apps. You can also prevent web content using Apple. So they can automatically filter website content to limit access to adult content in Safari and apps on your device. You can also add specific websites to an approved or blocked list, or you can limit access to only approved websites. So you would do this by going to Settings and Screen Time, tap Content and Privacy Restrictions and enter your screen time password, tap Content Restrictions, then tap Web Content, choose Unrestricted Access, Limited Adult Websites, or Allowed Websites only. So the one for children that probably would be the most appropriate is allowed websites only. That would make sure that then anything that they shouldn't be looking at, they wouldn't be able to see. So here we have some things that we need to be thinking about when we are using our devices in order to keep ourselves safe and our children. So we need to use a strong password, use an alias and avoid personal pictures. So in order to protect your personal information, don't use your real name, and don't post pictures of themselves online. Number 3, don't include date of birth and other personal information, same sort of thing. Number 4, it's important that your children know how to block and report things that they are not okay with. So if they're feeling uncomfortable or if it's something negative towards them, they need to be able to block and report it. Number 5, change settings to private. So it needs to be that only their friends can see their profiles, and you would do this by changing the settings to private. Consider the minimum age. So if your child is using something that is 13 plus, for example, make sure that you or another trusted adult is there to monitor their access on that. Number 7, don't accept friend requests from strangers. So make sure that your children are only accepting friend requests from people in their class or their school or somebody who they know, maybe a family member or someone that they know from a hobby. Number 8, switch off location services so that when your child does post on this social media, it doesn't say where they've posted it from. And number 9, tell them to think before they post. So remind them that things that they put on the internet are there to stay. Remind them that sometimes things that they put on the internet can be taken out of context and maybe could offend somebody. And finally, what to do if you are concerned about your child's internet safety. So there are many things that you can do, but first of all, don't panic just yet. Try and find out more information first by using those questions maybe that we looked at for the examples for gaming. Who are you talking to? Do you know who they are? Talk to your child. Explain that they are not in trouble, but that you are worried about their internet exposure. Be sure that you do this in an honest and supportive way. So make sure that your child understands that you are only doing this because you want to know that they are safe on the internet and online. Once you have more information, then it is time to take action. So if you are still concerned, then it is important to speak to somebody who you trust and who can help. So don't try and deal with it on your own. There are many people who you can speak to, such as a partner, a friend or family member, your child's teacher or school. Finally, you can speak to professionals at the NSPCC, as they are also there to help. They can give you professional advice and help you to move forward with an appropriate course of action. They are also available to support you too. So it's not just for support for your child, they are there to support you too and to help you through the situation. Thank you for your time. Please could you input the link into your web browser and complete the feedback form. We would really appreciate it. Thank you.